The president has seen in Brazil, like he's seen in other countries, a misuse of law, a misuse of democracy, what one might call lawfare.
Donald Trump is sliding into full dictator mode, not just in an effort to protect himself as a dictator of this country, but to protect other dictators, other former leaders who ruled as autocrats. Jair Bolsonaro is who I'm talking about today. Donald Trump is now punishing the nation of Brazil, a country, he's punishing them with tariffs, a country that doesn't even have a trade deficit with us. The deficit is actually the reverse. We sell more to Brazil than we buy from them. That's where the deficit is. So if anything, they should be charging us tariffs to correct the trade imbalance, according to Donald Trump's logic, right? Well, he's doing so. He's announced it. He's let us know why, because they're taking his friend, Jair Bolsonaro, to court to punish him for attempting to overthrow the government in order to stay in office. A straight up Trump move. So listen, this is the conversation I want to have about this is Donald Trump doing this as a metric to show the world that he is innocent in some weird half-baked plan? Or is it just to stick up for another autocrat? Because we know he rarely has a crossword to say about Xi Jinping, about Kim Jong-un, about Vladimir Putin, about Viktor Orban, about Bukele in El Salvador, or about the former president, Bolsonaro. And yesterday, with Margaret Brennan, Jamieson Greer, the trade representative, the tariff guru for Donald Trump, this dipshit who's a stumbly, bumbly, can't get his thoughts out in committee because he's being peppered with legitimate questions. He went on. They're trotting this guy out, this mumble-mouth idiot. They're putting him out there to answer questions. And Margaret Brennan does a great job here. She straight up is asking him, look, this isn't about trade. This isn't about a trade imbalance. This isn't about what Donald Trump has predicated all of these economic decisions on. This is about Bolsonaro. It's a great exchange. And then I'm going to read from a foreign newspaper, a foreign outlet, the BBC. Well, foreign if you're American. My audience is international, so not foreign to you if you live in the UK. And they break it down exactly what this is about and who Bolsonaro is and what he did and why, I guess, Donald Trump is doing what he's doing. First, Jamieson Greer with Margaret Brennan.
About Brazil, because the U.S. has a trade surplus with Brazil. That means, we sell them more than we buy from them. So it doesn't seem to be consistent here when you have the president put 50% tariffs on Brazil, one of the highest of any countries. And at the same time, the president is bringing up things that have nothing to do with trade when he's justifying them. He sent a letter to the current government complaining about the prosecution of his ally, Bolsonaro, who allegedly staged a coup when he lost the last election. The president called it a witch hunt. This seems politically motivated and not about trade.
There's a 10% tariff on Brazil because we have a surplus with them. That's the reciprocal tariff. And then there's a 40% tariff that the president has chosen to do under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, like we would do any sanction where we see geopolitical issues. The president has seen in Brazil, like he's seen in other countries, a misuse of law, a misuse of democracy, what one might call lawfare. It is normal to use these tools for geopolitical issues. I mean, sanctions, we've been using them for years with all kinds of countries.
You view tariffs and sanctions as the same?
They're just different in degree. I mean, tariffs are actually lighter than a sanction. A sanction, you're cutting off a country from your financial system. You're prohibiting trade with them. A tariff, you're allowing trade. You're just putting a fee on it. It's a lesser step than sanctions.
You have moved far away from dealing with the deficit. Now you are talking about politically motivated trade actions here. I mean, the president sent a letter to President Lula saying the tariffs are due in part to Brazil's insidious attacks on free elections. Why are you trying to influence a criminal trial of an ally of President Trump?
The president of the United States historically, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, they have used IEEPA to impose sanctions for all kinds of geopolitical reasons in all kinds of countries. Sometimes it's countrywide, sometimes it's specific to certain individuals, and often foreign leaders and foreign officials. So this is not way outside the mark.
When it comes to
unaltered voice, by the way. I know you think that's a 13-year-old girl. It is not. That is Jameson Greer. Yeah, I'm petty. Get over it. Look, the people of Brazil, they're not taking this lying down. There's all kinds of protests happening right now in the streets where they are burning Bolsonaro and Trump images in effigy. They are doing what we should be doing. Their government is doing what we should have done. Joe Biden really shit the bed by putting Merrick Garland in charge of the DOJ. This could have been handled. We could have avoided Donald Trump being president right now if we had handled this like other countries. If we had handled this attempt to insurrect our government like Brazil did, or like South Korea has done, we could have avoided this. But largely, Democrats are very trusting and so focused on fairness and even the appearance of bias that we drag our feet. Nancy Pelosi refused to bring impeachment against Donald Trump in his first term, the first time, for months and months and months, until finally her hand was forced. One, we need to get rid of this attitude, especially now when we're on the cusp of losing our democracy, our country. We're losing it here. We are in the final stages of having America be what it was. It's just what it is here. We need to answer like others answer: Brazil, South Korea. But let me read this from the BBC. Here's the headline: Why Trump's tariffs on Brazil are more about political retaliation than trade. Earlier this month, Trump claimed the U.S. runs a trade deficit with Brazil. In fact, it runs a multi-million-dollar surplus, meaning the United States sells more to Brazil than it buys. This new tariff rate isn't about leveling a trade playing field. It's political and part of a growing feud between the U.S. and Brazil. President Trump has framed these tariffs as retaliation over the prosecution of his ally, right-wing former Brazilian president Jair Bolsonaro, also a criminal, also a scammer, also a fraudster. One of the worst. Bolsonaro is facing trial over an alleged coup attempt after losing the presidential election in 2022 when his supporters stormed government buildings in Brasilia. The case includes claims of a plot to kill President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, they call him Lula, who won the race. Bolsonaro denies the charges, and Trump has slammed them as a witch hunt. Weird how everything related to trying to secure democracy is met with Donald Trump's accusation that it's a witch hunt. Donald Trump absconds with highly sensitive, secret, top secret documents to Mar-a-Lago, stack him in his fucking bathroom, and that's a witch hunt. His fraud trial, where he was ultimately convicted of 34 felony counts of fraud. Oh, that's a witch hunt. Everything's a witch hunt. Everything's a hoax. Everything related to Donald Trump and his dictator wannabe allies like Bolsonaro. The right-wing authoritarians on the global stage right now will not stop until they destroy democratic integrity and democracy itself. Anyway, what do you think? I would appreciate your feedback here. You can comment below. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. I would ask a simple ask: if you have the financial means to do so and you want to help support this work, not if you're on a fixed income, not if you're on retirement, not if you're on disability, only if you can throw away $2. If you want to throw it my way, I would appreciate it. Click the join button below this video on YouTube to become a channel member. You can also go to patreon.com/IDoubtIt and there's some way to do it on Facebook. I haven't figured out. Maybe by tomorrow, I will be smart enough to have figured it out. Anyway, I love and appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.